Welcome back to our conversation with 2nd District Congressman Jim McGovern of Worcester. Congressman, a week ago when ProPublica reported that Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas had for years been accepting luxury trips from a big-time Republican donor, you said he, quote, must resign. Why?
Because the highest court in the land shouldn't have the lowest ethical standards. And Clarence Thomas has been on the take with this big Republican mega donor who has business before the court, who has underwritten lavish trips for Clarence Thomas and his wife, even bought property from Clarence Thomas. I mean, there's a conflict of interest here, and I think he should resign. And if he doesn't resign, we ought to move to impeach him. People like that do not belong in the court. And I'm saying this not just because I disagree with him ideologically. I mean, we have differences of opinion with a lot of justices. But what he is engaged in is corruption. And I agree with Senator Elizabeth Warren, who has a bill to basically, set a higher ethical standards for our court. And to not do anything, it diminishes people's confidence in the courts and in our institutions.
I mean, you're suggesting he's on the take.
Yeah,
where's the evidence of where's the quid pro quo?
Well, Harlan Crow, who is the mega donor, has interests before the courts, and he is buying land from Justice Thomas at inflated values. I mean, paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for these lavish vacations. I mean, it seems to me that there's a conflict of interest here, and I don't think there's any room for that. Again, the highest court in the land should not have the lowest ethical standards.
As we were taping this late in the week, it came out that looks like President Biden's going to formally announce his re-election campaign on Tuesday. Do you think that's a good idea?
I do. If he announces that he's running next week, I will enthusiastically support him. I think he's done a good job, and there's a lot more work that needs to be done.
You're not concerned about his age and a second term?
No, I'm concerned about his policies and the policies of anybody who wants to run for president. I want a president who's going to do things that are going to help improve the quality of life for my constituents, and a president who will take on the gun lobby. I mean, as we speak, the #1 killer of children in our country is guns. Kids are being slaughtered, and we have Republicans in the House and in the Senate who are blocking any action. Joe Biden wants to take on the gun lobby, and we need people in office in the House, Senate, and in the White House who are going to take on the gun lobby and do something about this epidemic of gun violence.
You've served in Congress under 3 Democratic presidents, correct me if I'm wrong, Clinton, Obama, now Biden. How does Biden rate?
I think Biden's doing a great job. I really do. I mean, I think I'm a big fan of Bill Clinton, a big fan of Barack Obama, and I'm a big fan of Joe Biden. Look, what I like about Joe Biden is that he wakes up every day and thinks about the people I represent. He's not obsessed with, billionaires and zillionaires and corporations and special interests. He's a nuts and bolts politician who wants to get stuff done. And we're getting a lot of stuff done.
One last thing before we have to wrap up. Repairing the bridges over the Cape Cod Canal, funding the East-West Rail link. These are just 2 of the major local projects that are right now in search of substantial federal funding. Just give me your general observation. Are we in good standing to get what we need, or are we still suffering from what I call a big dig hangover?
Well, I think we are in line to get what we need. The President Biden, put in his budget $650 million for the bridges at the Cape. We're working alongside Congressman Keating and our 2 senators on that. We're working on East-West Rail funding. We passed the biggest infrastructure bill in history. $12 billion additional dollars to Massachusetts, hundreds of billions of dollars that we can apply for other projects. So we're in good shape, and the White House knows what our priority list is here in Massachusetts, and I expect we'll get the funding for them.
Congressman, always good to talk to you. Come back again anytime.
Happy to.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And that's Congressman Jim McGovern of Worcester. That's